Wow.
They want to make this
Wow.
too easy on you, Eddie.
Wow, you went in deep on this one.
What up, everyone? Shakiel Mahjouri here for CBS Sports, and you know who this is. He is one of the top stars of AEW and a true vet in the game. He's a master on the mic and in the ring, the Mad King, Eddie Kingston. How's it going?
Doing pretty good, man. That was a good intro.
Thank you.
I'm doing pretty
Appreciate
good
it.
now.
Appreciate it. And coming from you, that is like a remarkable compliment. So, yeah, I'm really just stealing Sean Evans' shtick. I say it every time from
Okay.
the ones, but you know, do what you gotta do. Now, before we get to all the amazing stuff that's happening with you and AEW, I want to start here. I think we got a bit of a shared passion for food. How good is AEW's catering? What's the best thing on that spread?
The best thing on the spread is everything because it's free. That's the way I look at it. You know what I mean? So it could be anything that's up there. It doesn't matter. I'll eat it because it's free. It tastes delicious because it's free. I didn't have to pay for it.
That's amazing. Well, I did read your Players Tribune piece, which was amazing, by the way. And so, and I know you've been getting a lot of maybe too many compliments about that one.
It's not bad. You know what I mean? It's a little bit overwhelming that I reached that many people. I didn't think that. I'm just being me. You know what I mean? So it's a little overwhelming, but I want everyone to know who emails me, who emails my other like booking account or Instagram or whatever. Just know that I do read them. I may not answer all of them, but just know I do read them and I do hear you and I do appreciate it and keep fighting and keep moving forward.
I know we set this up through AEW's PR, but they should just hire you, man. You're a reposting machine on Instagram.
Yeah, I try. You know what I mean? Like that's the only thing I like to do now on Instagram and Twitter is to retweet or repost, and that's it. Really, that's all I like to do now.
I feel you, man. I'm only on these things so I have to be for work. But anyways, we could do this forever. Let's talk a little bit.
The hatred about forever. Huh?
Let's talk a little bit about AEW. You know, you had talked in that piece about how the goal for a long time was, especially, just to make it, just to wrestle, just be able to make this your living and your passion and turn into something fruitful. And when you were on that verge of quitting, you had that talk with your brother who said, "What am I going to tell my nephew?" And so the goal became, I want my nephew to be able to tell his friends at school that that his uncle's a wrestler and to show up those videos. And now you can. From here onwards, are there any new milestones or is it just about sort of like living in the moment?
New milestones, of course, it's to be the top guy in AEW. You know what I mean? So I reached one goal. Mm-hmm. I made it to AEW, contracted, making a living. My nephew gets to show people on the TNT app. There's a little plug, or on the AEW YouTube. There's another plug. He gets to show off that hey, his uncle is a wrestler. All right, so I reached one goal. The next goal is to be the top guy, to be the champion, to be, the guy on the posters. You know what I mean? The guy that is AEW. Kind of like that's what Kenny was. Mm-hmm. That's what Mox was. That's what Jericho was. And that's who Hangman is now. So that's always the goal.
Okay. And if the fan reactions continue, I feel like it's all but a guarantee. I don't want to speak. Don't
you don't want to put out
guarantees or whatever the
out
saying
there.
may be. But I mean, it's amazing to see the way that the fans have rallied behind you. And I did over at Fightful. I'll give them a quick plug. We did a roundtable with some other media guys, and Eddie Kingston was one of the names mentioned who they think is going to get a world title in his grasp sooner than later.
Hopefully, that's what I'm working towards.
Yes, sir. You were at a bit of a crossroads, right? Because after your AEW appearance, WWE also reached out. You ended up obviously signing with AEW. Now looking back on it, how right of a decision do you think you made?
I don't know if it was right or wrong. It was just, I think the best way to put it is it was right or wrong. It was right for me. You know what I mean? So I can't tell anybody else look what I did. Thank God I didn't do it. No. Just it was right for me. You know what I mean? And maybe if I would have, who knows? There's so much what ifs now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? What if I would have went there instead? Maybe I would have been released. Maybe I wouldn't have. You know what I mean? But I had to do what I felt was right for me and no one else. And It doesn't matter to me. I'm just happy that where I'm at now. You know what I mean? I don't look backwards. I ain't gonna look backwards at it and be like, oh, thank God. It's just okay. I'm with AEW. That's it. There's no other thought process.
How creatively satisfying is it to be with AEW, or at least from the outside looking, and it appears like, the wrestlers are really given a chance to be themselves?
Well, certain wrestlers are. No, I'm joking. I was gonna bust balls and stuff.
You can bust balls, man. It always makes for a headline.
Yeah, I was gonna try to get some clickbait and be like, well, some wrestlers do, other wrestlers suck. No, I'm joking. It's very freeing. You know what I mean? You of course you gotta do a job, so you're told what you have to do, but you have enough creativity to get there. So you know where the end game is, but you have the creativity to get there. You know what I mean? And you have the trust to get there too. And also, there's trust with, you know what I mean, with people in AEW. You know what I'm saying? Like, if one of the agents come to me and say, like Billy Gunn, who I love backstage, if he comes up to me and tells me, Eddie, that doesn't really make sense. Try it this way. I'm not so egotistical and so filled with pride. I'm like, no, Billy, I'm not going to do it that way. Same thing with Jerry Lynn. Like, it's a collaborative effort. You know what I mean? So they let you do what you want, but if one of the veterans like Arn, Tully, Jerry, Billy, so many of the guys that we have back there with so much experience, if they tell you like, hey kid, I think you should go this way with it or say this with it, it's a nice collaboration. You listen. Yeah. And for those who don't listen, they're idiots. I'm not saying there's, clickbait.
Yeah, who's the idiot, Eddie? Let us know.
Yeah, everyone. No.
So, in what I really liked about sort of reading about your sort of, balancing of like, am I going to do WWE? Am I going to do AEW? Is the advice that your mom gave you, and sort of coupling that with the feedback your brother gave you when you thought about hanging up your tights and hanging up your boots. What's it like having that support system at home with your mom and your brother and your family who seem so invested, and not just having you wrestle and succeed, but having you commit and stick through something that you're so passionate about?
Well, my mom and dad are just happy that I'm doing something that's not illegal. You know what I mean? And my brother's just happy that I found something that I'm passionate about. Because there was no, not that we didn't see a future, or I didn't see the future. They did. They saw a future for me and anything I wanted to do. But because of my low self-esteem and how I beat myself down mentally in the past, and which I still kind of do, but I'm working on that. But all that stuff, that they're just happy to see me doing something that's positive. So of course they're gonna back me up on that. You know what I mean? No matter what.
I would like to touch very briefly on Jon Moxley, if that's okay with you, Eddie.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And what I really want to talk about, and this kind of goes along with the theme of, I think, the AEW fan base, is the way that it feels like the whole wrestling community, from the wrestlers to management to fans, really, supported Jon in his decision to go and get the help that he needs. And there's just so much celebration, where I feel like in the past there's a lot of condemnation for things like that. How nice was it for you to see the way people rallied around your friend?
Oh, it was great. You know what I mean? Like, I was gonna rally with him anyway. You know what I mean? So it didn't. I guess you could say old school street guy. My thing was, I don't care if no one else understands. I get it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I get it. Your wife gets it. That's all that matters. You know what I mean? But it does feel nice that everyone else got it. It feels nice now that what's that word? Someone said this to me the other day. My girlfriend said this to me the other day. She's a smart one. Toxic masculinity.
Yes, that is.
Okay, there you go. I never heard that
new
before.
term.
But anyway, it seems she's like, that's dying.
Yeah. Because
we're actually celebrating men like Moxie who can accept their flaws, but also work on them. Back in the day, we would just accept the flaws and try to move on and not work on them. Now that we accept who we are, and now we work on them. She says, I do the same thing, and I'm just like, I don't know what that means. I still like watching football and eating steak and, you know what I mean, having a beer here and there, you know? But anyway, I guess I'm not toxic masculinity or whatever. I don't know.
Well, Eddie, you're reading my mind. Because the last thing I want to ask before we finish off on some lighter notes is reading the story that you wrote. or the piece that you did, it really reminded me of someone I have in my personal life who I think is kind of cut from a similar cloth as you and is going through a lot of the same things. And obviously, you know, working on your mental health is something I think everybody should strive for. But what's your message to those people specifically, like yourself, who for a long time thought or still think that they're too tough? Like, what is a depression? What is your advice to those people who think maybe that to show that vulnerability is weakness?
Well, I usually like to tell people that we create our own normal. So if you sit there and say what you're going through is not normal, that's bullshit. Because what you're going through is what you're going through. That's your normal. So we make our own. You know what I mean? And this whole don't talk about things and this whole I gotta be manly and stuff. I think I'm pretty manly, but I talk about what I gotta go through because I'm trying to see tomorrow. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to make my mother proud. I'm trying to make my girl proud. I'm trying to make Tony Khan proud. I'm trying to make my boy Monkey, who's Ortiz, proud. You know what I mean? And Homicide proud. There's so many people that I'm trying to make proud that I have to move on. And the best way for me to move on is to talk about what's going on in my life. And also to make my own normal, because no one's going to go through what I'm going through. You know what I mean? I'm the one going through it, so it's my normal, and I'm going to, not that I'm broken, I'm just going to move on from it and move forward, because that's all I can do is move forward. And do I feel a little bit pressure since that Players Tribune? Yeah. But I also kind of like it, too, because so it's like, look, I can move. I can do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not the most mentally put together person. You know what I mean? But I'm moving forward, and I'm trying. So why can't you? Why can't anybody else?
I appreciate that so much, Eddie. I know it's not always the most comfortable stuff to discuss, but I appreciate you doing some, man.
No, of course, man. I'm starting to get used to it more and more since the Players Tribune. Trust me, I'll get off this interview and start itching a little bit later, but I'll be okay.
I will in turn feel guilty for the rest of my day, but that is my own thing to work through as well.
Yes, sir.
All right. I know you're a huge fan of old school Japanese pro wrestling, but I want to talk a little bit more new school. Now that we're seeing these collabs, you know, you and Jon fought Suzuki and Archer on a number of occasions. What is sort of your modern New Japan pro wrestling dream match, or really anyone in the Japanese circuit?
Well, there's only three for me, really. It's Jun Akiyama's number one. Kenta and Marufuji are the other two.
Amazing.
They've learned from, you know, like Akiyama learned from Giant Baba, and Marufuji learned from Masawa, and Kenta learned from Kobashi. Same thing with Akiyama. Akiyama learned from all the four pillars, I believe. You know what I mean? So those are my three dream matches: Akiyama, Jun Akiyama, Kenta, and Marufuji.
On the note of dream matches, you've talked in the past about how that match against Jon meant so much for you. Obviously, for fans, there was a lot of excitement in the leading up and in the aftermath of the CM Punk match. For you, what's the next AEW dream match? Is it a rematch for Jon where you're the world champ this time? What does that look like if you could paint it out in your own fantasy way?
In my own fantasy.
I mean, take that.
It'll be me and Jon against Bryan and CM Punk, and we're beating the piss out of them either in Cincinnati or in New York.
Amazing.
That's the dream.
That is an amazing match. And Tony, I hope if you're not listening, I hope you hear this. I hope this gets to you, because I am 100% sold on that. Okay, Eddie, last two things. We'll move off of pro wrestling a little bit. When are you going to walk out to Westside Gunn's song, Eddie Kingston? When are we going to get that?
Whenever they let me. So I'm ready for whatever. Westside knows I'm ready for whatever, man.
Have you talked to Westside? I feel like
no, I haven't been able to talk to Westside yet, but I know the Blade and the Butcher are close with him, you know what I mean? So he'll send something saying, yo, I'll be saying something back, like, you know what I mean? What up? You know, thanks for the song and all that stuff, you know what I mean?
Griselda seems very involved in like combat sports.
Man. That's my favorite stuff. Yeah. Griselda, Benny the Butcher, Conway the Machine, and Westside.
Yeah, I hear Conway and Benny are very into MMA, so it's nice to see the whole Griselda flock helping out on the scene in all of combat sports. What was it like for you to like? How did you find out about that song? What was sort of the immediate reaction to seeing your name there?
Blade told me about it. The Blade, and I saw it. And I was just bugged out. I was like, yo, this is crazy. This is what, you know what I mean? Like, you would have never thought that. You know what I'm saying? Plus, being a fan of Westside, you know what I'm saying? So it was humbling about that. It was humbling and shocking at the same time.
Okay, I want your top 3 New York rappers not named Biggie, Nas, or Jay.
Wow. Wow.
I want to make this too easy on you, Eddie.
Wow, you went in deep on this one.
Yes, sir.
Rakim.
Okay.
Without a doubt, because to me, if there was no Rakim, there would be no Nas. You know what I mean? So I gotta go Rakim. And I gotta go Cormega.
Okay.
I like Cormega a lot. And Prodigy.
Very nice.
Not
That's
big.
a good
So
choice.
he should have been the first one I said, but Rakim.
Yeah, I'm a little younger than you, Eddie, so I'll go Mos Def, Jadakiss, Joey Badass.
All right.
Also, Ari the Rugged Man, I'll throw in there just because he's a bad mofo.
Yeah, my man Jada from Yonkers, baby. YO, Locks,
Yes,
baby,
sir.
730. What up?
Look at that. All right, last thing. I like to top and tail these things. We started with food. I want to end on food. Best pizza spot in New York and the best non-pizza item you can find in New York City, because people talk too much about pizza sometimes.
Yeah, no, to me, it's whatever Chinese food spot you can find in New York. You know what I mean? And look, whatever it is, MSG or Greece or whatever.
What's your go-to order?
What's
your go-to order at a Chinese
spot?
spot?
For me, for Chinese food, chicken lo mein and General Chow's, man.
Okay.
And you got to have that, you know what I mean, that duck sauce. You got to have duck sauce and put it all over the place. You know what I mean?
I know, man. I know. Duck sauce all day. And no more wonton soup? Have you grown up from the wonton soup era?
No, I still love wonton soup. I still have the wonton little cups still in my house that I put water in and sometimes coffee.
Perfect. I have way too many pairs of chopsticks just shoved it, like the ones you get the extra ones from the takeout.
Yep, you just shove them.
My drawer. Yes, sir. All right, Eddie Kingston. Man, it's been so much fun seeing everything from the AEW debut up until this point. So congratulations. Thank you so much for the time. I'm gonna leave you with the last word. So plug now. Guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Please subscribe, notification bell, all that good stuff. Thank you to CBS Sports for empowering the video. Link to the article in the body of this video. Eddie, whatever you want to let the people know, now's your chance. As is every week that you're on the mic.
Yeah. Only thing I want to, I don't know, Mad King 1981 or Mad King, I don't know. One of Eddie Kingston 81.
We'll have the link.
Yeah, you guys
on your
have
right next to you on your arm right now.
To end it properly, man, I just gotta say something my mother used to tell me all the time. The sun will rise with you, with or without you tomorrow. So why not do it with you? You know what I mean? So just, move forward, folks. Move forward.